I think a lot of people are underestimating what it takes to release something and get actual good results out of it. A lot of people will upload their song, then they'll make a couple of posts, and then they'll go ahead and check out those posts, maybe reply back to some people, and then they drop it after that. But what's the point of all of this? Why do we release music, do a little tiny push for it, and then stop? Well, because it's tough. That's one of the reasons. That's obvious, right? To be consistent and an entrepreneur is really tough. Life gets in the way. A lot of things are happening. I fall victim to it myself. We need to be thinking about the bigger picture here. Why are we doing this? Why are we releasing songs in the first place? What is our end goal? What are we trying to accomplish? I'd say for most people that are doing this part-time, the big ideas that they need to be focusing on is getting new fans, getting fan engagement, building a small community of people. Doesn't have to be a lot. It could be just a little bit, it could be 10 people. Can you prove that you have 10 people that are really wanting to listen to your songs? Not friends and family, but actual people that don't really know who you are. They just know you through your music. When you get those 10 fans, where do you get them from? Are they only finding you on Spotify? Do they only see your stuff on TikTok? What's the point? All of these different apps are disconnected from each other. They do not usually tie into each other. We have one song. We have all these different platforms. We have all of these potential fans out there in the universe. And here we are making small, focused decisions on little tiny things that we want. We need to stop thinking like that. We need to have big goals that we are trying to accomplish. Some of these goals could include testing your audience, figuring out what audience you have, figuring out if you actually get fan engagement if you're asking for it, figuring out how paid ads work and where does that song go as you're paying money for it. What's the point of paying money for it? Let's just say you spend $100, but you get $100 worth of stream revenue from it. That puts you at break even. And then those people, do they come back? What happens to them? It's hard to be in the position of a musician not knowing what's happening on the other side. When I'm making these videos, sometimes it's really hard for me to tell what people like, what people don't like, unless they start commenting and telling me what they do like or what they don't like. But most musicians don't have to deal with that, not even that. They might get a like here and there. They might get little bits of engagement here and there. But I think there's an issue. I think that people are not making content to get engagement. People are not paying for ads to get engagement, to test their audience and see where they sit and find out how they could build out the rest of that plan. What's the plan? It's to get more fans. You will not develop a catalog that makes enough money to earn a living off of the music business unless you have diehard loyal fans, aka super fans. I'm not going to talk about the specific types of posts that you need to make or what kind of specific strategies, because that's extremely custom to you. But I want you to think about your position, where you're at, all the moving parts that happen when you're releasing a song. How long does that rollout go for? What do you actually accomplish every single time you release a song? Every time you release a song, it's a tool. Don't see it as your baby, your music, this is my amazing thing that I cultivated and I shaped it, and here you go, everybody. No, think about it as this is something that I can use to test. I need to do a bunch of tests, and then I need to collect data on those tests. And then I need to run some more tests that test that. There's a lot of testing going on, okay? And we need to make sure that when we're releasing songs, we're getting the most out of every single time. It could be kind of scary to have almost no fans and be like, I'm going to create a post that starts to develop a funnel system, which if you don't know, it's where you try to get a lot of reach, a lot of discovery engagement, which means people sit there and they watch your stuff. And then that funnels into something. And that funnel could be an email list. If you are making a post and you talk about signing up to an email list, most people don't want to do that. It doesn't really quite work with the music. So a lot of people just shy away from that. Or ask to comment what your mood is or something that's related to the song. Let's just say you're making a song about getting over heartbreak or something like that. And you wanted to Ask the audience if they've ever dealt with something like this, and does this song help them get through it? It feels weird. Just as an artist, it feels cringy to do that type of stuff. But depending on who you are, what kind of archetype you are, what kind of mysteriousness level that you want to have between you and your fans, you might describe this differently. You might ask this differently. That's the reason why I don't want to give specific details. But what I want you guys to think about is we are trying to gather fans. And how do you gather fans? So you have the discovery mode. Then you have a system that can funnel people into your ecosystem. But you haven't built an ecosystem yet. What is your own fan ecosystem? How does that work? There needs to be a place where they could go to. When you're paying for ads, there needs to be a place where they go to. Are they going to sit there and listen to your song and maybe listen to a couple more of your songs? That's a great thing to do. I get that. I like that. What else can you give them? There's a third dimension that musicians should have nowadays or be thinking about building out. And that has to do with creating a system where people could come into and have extra stuff to do. It could be listening to unreleased versions of songs. It could be very classified merch drops that only true fans get to know about. It could be making decisions on which song you should drop next. And of course, there's tons and tons more examples of this type of stuff. But you have to get creative. If you were to throw an event, you got a bunch of people to show up. Let's just say you got 100 people to show up to a show, and it's a full-on event, and it's supposed to be entertaining, not just you on stage performing to people, but you really want to give them an experience. What kind of experience would you give them? Hopefully, it's one that matches you, your brand, and the things that you like. You make it personal to who you are and what's important to you, and you try to find fans that also love those things, and you pair that with that. You see, I'm just an audio engineer. I work with musicians. I see things that people do, but I work with a lot of musicians that are just starting out and trying to build their career, and they have a lot of questions of what to do. So it's very natural to not understand this third dimension. In fact, I'm trying to learn it right now just so I could help teach people what that is and how it works and different ideas. But I just wanted to put this in your ear for those that watch me and you hear me talking about content and all that stuff. It's like, yes, content is important, but the content is a vehicle to get you from here to here. So where is the here? Is it just listening to a song one time? I mean, honestly, you should be giving that to them in the content in the first place. They should be satisfied almost with that specific song, even in a very short clip. Maybe it's just the hook. It's hard to think about that. Like, you want them to listen to the song front to back. But if you could hook them with anything and make them interested in who you are and your world that you are presenting, then that is more important than anything else you possibly can do. So what world are we trying to build? Where do they go? I feel like back in the day when there was social media around, things were so much better. You can develop a fan base through your subscribers or your followers and all that sort of stuff. Every time you posted something, most likely they were going to see it. But now subscribers mean less than ever before. Subscribers are pretty much dead. Only the people that are interested will be able to see more of the stuff coming up. Unfortunately, a lot of times there's a limit to that too. Let's just say you watch 1 or 2 of my videos and then you take a week without watching any of my videos. Guess what's going to happen? I'm probably not going to show up unless I make a topic that is close to something that you want to watch. And you have to give the indication to the algorithm to pull that video up in front of you. So it's easy to get lost in the sauce of all this, like it can be frustrating. So we have to develop our own social clubs, in a sense, that bring people to us. And not to mention, you're not just bringing people to you and then you're just like, hey, how's it going, guys? That's enough. No, you have to be thinking about developing an engine of either content or merch drops of some sort, ways to give back to the fans, to give them something for coming in the door, for showing up to see you. Unfortunately, since I don't release constantly as a musician, I don't really know this world as well as I should to be even talking about it. I just know that it's important. I know that people should be thinking about it. I am going to be working on understanding this more So if you guys want to see more videos like that, let me know. Let me know what kind of confusion you have when it comes to release strategies. Let me know what works for you. Is there anything that you tried that was unorthodox that you seem to see results from? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, like. I'm getting closer to that monetization. I'll talk to you later.